Good afternoon. I'd like to start by welcoming you and thanking you for the time you're taking to view my presentation. I'm actually going to be discussing a topic that you may or may not have heard of before called emotional intelligence, otherwise known as EI. So, this so-called emotional intelligence was originally thought up by Daniel Goleman in the early 1990s. Also, you can, by the way, take this really interesting quiz to determine where exactly you fall on the emotional intelligence quotient. You can visit psychologytoday.com's website and search through their test sections and see exactly where you fall. I was quite surprised when I found that I only got an 85% when taking the test myself, so I have a lot of work to do. So what exactly is emotional intelligence? Here on this slide, although it might be a little bit difficult for you to see, I'd like to read the actual definition to you. Emotional intelligence is the ability to identify our own emotions and those of others too, to self-motivate ourselves and know how to monitor our emotions and also those around us. There's actually, for EI or emotional intelligence, 5 attributes which can be subdivided. They are self-awareness, self-regulation, social skills, empathy, and motivation. Balancing what we feel with what we think. The important thing to acknowledge here is how we must place emphasis on balancing both what we feel and what we think. There's actually several determining factors that may affect your overall emotional intelligence, or EI quotient. Your own personality, the weather, your stress factors, which can vary greatly from day to day, social activities, sleep or lack thereof, exercise, your age, your gender, and your current health status. So on this next slide here, it's actually called the iceberg model, and it's extremely interesting because the tip of the iceberg actually reflects your IQ or your intellectual quotient. And again, take notice that it's just the tip of the iceberg, where beneath, where the greatest surface area is represents your EQ or your intellectual quotient. The iceberg model here, you can see the tip of the iceberg is what we see, what we visualize, your behavior and your performance. What we can't see is the majority of what is below the surface. Thinking, your emotions, your attitudes, your personal values, your basic human emotional needs. Again, and this is called the iceberg model. So this is incredibly interesting. Experts say that in terms of success, you should really focus and rely on only 20% of your success being reliant upon your IQ. The remaining 80% is your EQ score. Another reason to work on and enhance your emotional quotient. So circling back on the contributors to emotional intelligence, the 4 main key points here that are listed in this slide are self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. I was kind of selective in the things that really stood out to me and gathered some more information. So, some of the attributes or the subsections within these 4 quadrants are being aware. Being aware means to acknowledge your beliefs, your emotions, and your own behavioral patterns, which we do all establish those from a very young age. Management means to utilize breathing techniques and mindfulness exercises with emphasis on self-soothing or calming. Being socially aware is acknowledging both verbal and nonverbal signs and signals other people may give to you. Nonverbal signals are something that are incredibly important to acknowledge and be aware of when having a conversation with someone. These sort of communication signals will let you know if someone is interested in the conversation that they're having with you, if they're distracted, or being buried within their own emotional status at the moment. Relationship management skills come into play when we develop listening skills and build our own empathetic abilities towards others. So this slide claims that the management of building people skills is of the utmost importance. Try to be attuned to other people's emotions. Be a peace promoter and try to encourage both comfort within your own interactions and also with other people and within your own environment too. Interpersonal skills and emotional intelligence really go hand in hand. While communicating with others, there must be a harmonious balance between your thinking and your feeling. And remember that 80-20 ratio we just talked about a little bit ago is so important because sometimes we hype ourselves up knowing that we're investing or getting ready to have a conversation or potentially great communication with somebody. It doesn't always take being the sharpest tool in the shed to have a great interaction and conversation and make it meaningful with other people. Really, there's no pressure. So, is your mind full or are you mindful? Being mindful of your current emotions or state of mind is key to regulating and building on your EI or emotional intelligence. Some exercises you might want to try sometime are mindful breathing, observation, awareness, listening, and taking appreciation and gratitude for wherever you are, whenever that moment happens. Take a cue from this guy here. Once when you've begun to take even a few bits of what I've shared with you, I hope that you'll truly be on your way to an emotional intelligence genius. Thank you for your time.